Faith, could you talk about what you remember from the night of the tornado?
Yeah, so me and maybe like 7 other of my teammates went to Emily Woodruff's grandma's house, which is in Anniston. So we actually weren't on campus when it hit, but we were all in her basement because she had like a huge basement. So we had all went for the whole day and just stayed there. And then I think the tornado hit around like 7 or 8 that night, and we couldn't get in touch with our teammates. You know, all the phone service was down. Like, we didn't know who was okay and who wasn't. Coaches were freaking out. They were trying to get a hold of everybody. And then we finally got in touch with everybody and made sure like everybody was okay. So we tried to get sleep that night after everything happened. And so the next morning we got up about 5:36 and started to head to Jacksonville. Well, our plan was to go to our apartment because I lived in Gamecock Village, and it was like one of the hardest hit, our building, which was number 11. And so they wouldn't let us in because they had it all blocked off, and it was like a fire hazard or whatever. And so we all got together. I think it was like right beside the Dollar General parking lot, as like me, Emily, Haley, KT, Annatism, and Leela. So, because we all lived in Gamecock Village together. So we all got together, and then after that, we all came to the field. You know, of course, the field was completely ruined, and we all just like came and walked on the field, and we're all crying, of course. And then the whole team got here, coaches pulled up, and we got like this big group hug and like everything's gonna be okay. And so after that we played at Western Kentucky. Didn't do too hot because, you know, our minds were not on softball at that point. We didn't have none of our stuff. Like, our stuff is sitting in our apartments getting like ruined with water damage. So then we started playing. We played UT Martin on that Saturday, which started conference, and we swept them. Played SEMO the next day, did good. So as far as playing, I think we really focused in on conference that year because nobody expected us to win conference after what we had been through. And then, so as far as getting my stuff back, they put all of our stuff, which was in our apartment, in like these huge garbage bags, and it was soaking wet. Like, a bunch of my clothes were molded, and because it had sat there, we lived on the bottom floor, so it blew the whole 3rd story off. So I think like a bunch of pipes must have busted when it did that, and like water was standing like super high in our apartment. So like all of my shoes that were in my closet on the floor, all of those were ruined. I had clothes like on my bed. It was like, it ruined my comforter, my bed, everything. So
Didn't you lose some pictures too?
I did. We lost a bunch of pictures. We had I had this whole memory book on my floor, which it got ruined. So, and then I had pictures in my on my wall, but when the people came in and took them off, they were all wet and they stuck together and they just started like bleeding together. So I lost all those. And then really, like, we had renter's insurance, so we got the money back for everything I lost. So that really helped. So I replaced everything, but like, you know, some of that stuff can't be replaced, like pictures and stuff. But now looking back on it, like, we're just blessed that nobody was injured or killed at this point, and it was on spring break. And because if there would have been people here, students, you know, college kids don't really heed the tornado warnings or anything, really, weather, unless you've been through it. And like, we've had a bunch of like football players that lived on in these apartment complexes that were completely like wiped out. So like, if you look back on it, you think like it was a really blessing that it was only us here and like baseball and a couple other people. So
how did the experience change you, or did it?
Yeah, it really put in perspective how like blessed we are, and really blessed that we had our own field to call home. And like, you know, we haven't played here for over a year, so it really put in perspective like how chill it was to come to the locker room an hour before the game and just get to sit in the locker room with your teammates. Because then playing at Chocolaca, we would have to, you know, we would just drive there and then hang out in the dugout and then play. Like, now we get to play our music, we get to calm down in the locker room. And like, it's really just having a place to call home. And of course, it's so beautiful out here now. And it really just put into perspective of like how fast like things can change. And we started playing for each other at that point, and the university and the community behind. So
Thanks so much for
You're
remembering
welcome.
that for us, Faith.